So spoken word is huge today, isn't it? And we said, well, gee, why not a spoken word for car people? And voila, we have Motor Mouth. Paul Saulnier is next, and he's going to share his story. Thanks, Paul.
Well, thank you all for coming. It's a pleasure to be here. This is a great museum. It's, my story starts in 1964. I had a driver's license and I wanted a car.
Let's get to that car.
Good or not.
That's cool.
I had the money, but I didn't have the permission. My brother was tooling around town in the 1950 Merc, lead sled, chopped, nosed and decked, glass packs, a really cool car. I think I better talk closer to the mic before Sheldon yells at me. Wow, you could hear me now. My buddies were into antiques, so we'd go to either Richard's Drive-In in Cambridge or the Big Burger out on Fresh Pond in a 1934 DeSoto with no reverse gear or a 1928 air-cooled Franklin. I was helping my buddy Arthur restore, but never finished, a 1934 Ford Woody Wagon. You might remember that Jan Deed made that car popular in 1963 with Surf City, USA. So I finally found a 1928 Oldsmobile for sale in Cambridge for $250, sold. I found a garage in Waltham for $10 a month to store it until I could get permission to buy a car. Not being one who liked to waste time or squander an opportunity, once or twice a week, I'd sell the car to a buddy. We'd drive over there, swap the plates, and take it out. One night a neighbor came over and said she thought we were doing something illegal. Then she said she called the cops. So quickly we took the plates off the Olds, put it back on his car, closed the garage doors, put the bolt on it, and took off. Less than a quarter of a mile away, here come the police. Luckily for me, the old lady that I rented the garage from didn't have a key to the garage and didn't even know my name. So eventually the fuel pump gave out and I couldn't find a replacement. So I strapped a jerry can to the side and gravity fed to the carburetor. So that worked great for a while. One day on the way to Richard's, I stopped to buy some panther piss at the local Gulf station. And there was Cambridge's Finest was out on the street directing traffic and looking at the car. I was careful not to make eye contact with him because I didn't want to encourage him to come over. So I'm out pumping gas and then I hear from inside a frantic, "Here he comes." Enough panther piss for now, give the man $1.35. Please start on the first try. Please start on the second try. Yes, too late. Nice car, he says. Thanks. Buick? No, Oldsmobile. Fixing it up? Yeah, but parts are hard to find and cops are hard to lose. I'm worried about him taking a tour of the car. We got illegal plates strapped to the front and back bumper. I got a phony bill of sale. I got a 10-gallon jerry can on the side, basically a bomb. And Ma and Pa think I'm at a CYO meeting. So I got to think of something fast. So I say, well, I got to go before she overheats. He says, well, good luck with it. I said, thanks. Been nice so far. So this went on for about almost 6 months. The starter motor broke, so now I had to use the hand crank to start it. Always pulling up. Learned that quick. Never pushing down, because if it backfires when you're pushing, you're going to end up with your elbow next to your shoulder. I was worried when I brought it home. I figured my father was going to be pissed, but he actually liked it. He and my brother would take it to Sonny's Bar in Watertown on a Saturday afternoon for a few beers. Of course, they didn't take me because I was too young to drink beer. It had mechanical brakes, which meant no matter how hard you stepped on that brake pedal, you weren't going to lock them up. It had vacuum wipers, which meant during the rain, going uphill, you couldn't see where you're going. It had, during the dry spells, I would hose down the wooden spokes to get rid of the squeaks. But one of the great things about this car was that the seats were wide and fuzzy, and there were shades to pull down on the back and side windows, which gave a whole new meaning to the words driving. One afternoon, piled a bunch of friends into the car, and we headed into Harvard Square to get an education. Guy in a brand new Buick was so busy looking at me, he ran a stop sign, and I T-boned him. You should have seen the look on his face. He thought old 99 was coming down on him. I watched in horror as my front bumper just buried itself into the side of his car. I think the guy that invented those side reinforcing restraints was probably still in diapers at the time. Then my fenders just began to flare out like a condor taking flight, and I was really worried. Then I bounced off of them. Remember, the brakes weren't that good. And the fenders just came right back down into place, and the bumper straightened out to reveal a brand new coat of gray paint. Boy, was that guy pissed. He even accused me of being too busy waving to the girls to watch where I was going. But the police came, gave him a ticket, and we split for Richards. In 1965, I needed a car to commute to Northeastern, so I had to sell the old Oldsmobile. Sold it for $400, bought an Austin Healey for $600. I still have that Austin Healey. It's now titled to the girl in the picture there. It was my girlfriend at the time, and now my wife of 49 years. She's making sure that this one doesn't get away. But for me, this 28 Olds was my first car, but I really enjoyed the fun times I had with it, the not so much fun times, the legal and the not so legal times I had. So for me, this was really the one that got away. Thanks very much.
You like motor mouth? It's fun, isn't it?